Hey guys, so fun fact, I already filmed this clip in my car today, but I don't think I'm gonna like that footage when I review it. So I thought I would do it again because I did do it straight after work. It was a hot day. I didn't want to open my windows because people could hear me, and then I started to sweat. So it wasn't great, but I'll insert some of it here. It's really hot in here, but I don't want to open the windows in case anyone can hear me. I'm starting to get really fucking sweaty. There's a guy there and I don't like it. There's a builder just over there, and I can't tell if he knows what I'm doing. So last week we ended the week and we finished a book. So everything that I'm reading is new to this week. It is Tuesday. Again, at the end of last week's vlog, I was having a bad mental health day, and that carried over to yesterday a little bit. I think what my issue is because I went back to the gym for the first time in a very long time on Friday, and I did a high intensity workout, which I definitely overdid it a bit because my thighs and my triceps and shoulders are still really sore. So I was very tired because my body needed more time to recharge, but I was trying to keep to my normal sleeping pattern and like stay up late. So I was really like run down and tired and grumpy, but I'm like, the ache is all right now and I'm feeling a lot better. Yesterday I didn't have like a terrible mental health day. I just wasn't feeling 100%, but here I am today and I got some information for you. So the first book that I'm currently reading, I am reading on Scribd, and that is Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. This is the second and final book in the You duology. So You is a thriller. It's not a mystery thriller. There's no mystery involved. It's like a straight up thriller that is written in second person perspective. It puts you in the mind of a stalker called Joe, who works at a bookstore when this girl comes in, and he quickly becomes infatuated and obsessed with her and starts to stalk her. I really liked that book. I found it very unique in that you identify with the stalker, you're rooting for him, you want him to succeed, you think that he can do better than the girl that he's stalking, and it was a very unique perspective to consume a story from, and I found it to be very compelling. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books of the year. So normally when I tell you about sequels, I give you a little bit of information about the plot, like this carries on from last book, or the characters are going somewhere else in this one. I can't really tell you anything about this because it does kind of spoil the end of the first one. So just know that it's a sequel. Things are slightly different in it. I'm not sure if I'm enjoying this one quite as much because some of the things that are happening don't seem very realistic. I can't elaborate, but just the situations that Joe is finding himself in are not as realistic as in the first book. He works at a bookstore, he likes reading books, he's quite quiet, he's quite nerdy. I found him to be very relatable, and the situation that he was in, just a guy who works in a bookstore, you know, likes a girl, it was a very believable story. And this one, some things are happening, it's a little bit like, really? But I am enjoying it. I think if it's not a 5 stars, I think it's going to be at least a 4, but there's going to be some twists and turns in here. It's like a thriller. So we'll see how it goes. This is my 7th Bookopoly book, and I think the prompt for that was to read a book that is like the square on the board says to read a US/UK book, but it just means a book that is set in modern times in a country or society that I'm familiar with. That is currently the ebook that I'm reading because it is available on Scribd, so I have it on my phone and I can dip in and out of it whenever. But I did also start a chunky beast to read alongside it yesterday, and that is The Queens of Innis Lear by Tessa Gratton. I am only 6 pages into this. I read the prologue last night before I went to sleep, and this is the book that I'm going to be reading when I'm at home, and Hidden Bodies will be the book that I'm reading when I'm out and about because I can access it on my phone. So like I said, I've only read the prologue, so I can't really give you any information about this so far, but what I will say is that the writing style is very flowery and prosaical. Think Strange the Dreamer, so I'm absolutely loving that about it. It does take a little bit of extra concentration because there is a lot of metaphor in here, but what I've read so far I definitely enjoyed. Character driven, slow burn, purple prosy adult fantasy is my absolute favorite genre, so I already think I'm going to love this one. What I know about the premise of this is very minimal. I think it's a King Lear retelling. I'm not familiar with King Lear by Shakespeare. I do have the complete works of Shakespeare up there actually, so I could do with maybe flicking through it. In the prologue, the king seals a well which seems to be the source of this island's power, and he has 3 daughters. The daughters are waiting for him to name an heir, but he's not going to do it until the longest night of the year. But as magic is dwindling, I think trouble is coming to the island that they rule over, and so I think they're going to take matters into their own hands and maybe battle it out for the throne. I don't know. The premise of this is giving me very 3 Dark Crowns vibes, even though I've not read that. I know the premise of that one. So yeah, I don't know where this is going yet, but I will definitely fill you in throughout the week. For Bookopoly, this was my 2nd Bookopoly roll. We are dancing all over the place with Bookopoly this month, and I believe this was a chance card pick, so my chance cards have an equal amount of books I'm excited and not excited to read. This was one of the ones that I am excited to read. It's just thick, which is why I was kind of less than enthusiastic about pulling it this month. So the only other thing I have to say is that I received a crown today, and I can't tell you why, but I can tell you that you will be seeing this sometime soon. It's Bookish, it's video related, so you're gonna see me in a crown. So yeah, this arrived today, and that is all I have for this update, so I will check in with you at some point throughout the week. Hey guys, so we are on 8 p.m. currently on, what day is it? Thursday. And you know, I don't feel like this week has been a good week for vlogging. I mean, I started off the vlog a day late and it's been 2 days again since I've checked in with you, but I really like it when I finish a book at the end of a week, so going forward into the new vlog I'm starting one afresh. However, that kind of can make the vlog a bit stagnant because I'll still read the same amount of books in a week. It's just I won't really have anything to say for the beginning of the week because I'm just reading the same books that I have introduced to you earlier on. I also feel like Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday are like my days when I'm busiest, because obviously I'm at work for most of the day, and then on Monday I have to come back and edit my vlog, which can take around 3 hours. Tuesday my boyfriend's normally not here, so I have more to do around the house because we share like the daily things like cooking and cleaning and things like that. But when he's not here on Tuesday I have to do all that, and then I normally take that day to watch TV and do things like that because he's not here and doesn't want to watch TV, so I have like everything to myself. As well as that, I did spend all this Tuesday filming, so I lost like my entire evening to filming there, which should give me a little bit more time at the weekend, but still. And then on Wednesdays I have to edit my video that goes up on Thursdays, and also I go to yoga, so that's most of the evening gone again. So I haven't actually been doing that much reading in the evening this week, which is going to explain to you my reading update. So I'm still reading Hidden Bodies on Scribd. I'm currently in the middle of a chapter. I'm on page 414 of 448, so I could finish this today, but this has been my daytime book because it's a lot easier to read than The Queens of Innis, which is the other book I'm currently reading. So I don't think I'm going to pursue any more of that tonight. I will probably finish the chapter I'm reading, but that will be about it. On Tuesday I switched upon that it is slightly less realistic than the first book, You, but I'm still really enjoying it. Something that I think is very well done in this duology. Why do next door's dogs never shut the fuck up? Like, teach your dogs not to bark at everything. It's not hard. I have a dog. She doesn't bark at everything. This is literally the bane of my life. Like, I can't even hear those dogs barking anymore because they bark so frequently that my brain tunes it out. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Something I think that this book and this series does really well is that Joe is an unreliable narrator. You're stuck in his head. He's a stalker, so we can assume that he has some issues. His childhood's never really mentioned throughout the series. We know that he doesn't have great parenting. He kind of broke out on his own as an early teen, like maybe around 14, 15. He pretty much had nothing to do with his parents from then on. So he comes from a little bit of a broken home. He didn't have a great home life. We know he's a stalker. He has issues with jealousy, commitment, things like that. Aside from that, we don't really know why he is the way he is because his backstory is never really gone into. As we are in his head and he doesn't like to talk about it, we don't really hear about it. So something I think that it does really well with having an unreliable narrator is that it leads you places and you don't know whether it's accurate what's going on. So an example of this is that he may be interested in a woman, or he may be attracted to a woman, and this woman may have a male presence in her life, and everything that he does, Joe will see from a vision of jealousy. Now, I think we've all been there, maybe in our teenage years, where you may be attracted to somebody and then they may have a close friend and you are assuming that the close friend feels the same way about that person as you do because you feel that way. But it's not always the case. Sometimes they're just friends, and being in Joe's head, you don't know whether it's accurate and he has a reason to feel this way or whether he's kind of making it all up. And because you never get out of his head, you never really know the right answer. So I really like that. I still love Joe. Still rooting for Joe, although obviously no spoilers, but there was a plot twist a few chapters ago and it didn't go the way that I expected it to, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I'm not sure if I believe it, I like it, or whether I'm like, what the actual fuck. So I'm a little bit torn about that, but I'm enjoying Hidden Bodies overall. The other book I'm reading, The Queens of Innis. Now, like I said, I haven't had much time to read during the evenings recently, so I have only read 22 pages of this. I've literally read one chapter an evening just before I go to bed. So honestly, all I can really say about it is that I hope to God that Tessa Gratton can construct a story, because I could give this 5 stars for the writing alone. It is just so damn beautiful. I want to get more into it before I make this claim, but the vibes that I'm getting is if Sarah J Maas and Laini Taylor had a book baby. So this has the feel of a Sarah J Maas story in that I don't think there's any fae in here, but the setting is very wooded and forested. The way that Tessa Grattan writes characters feels like I could get real into them, like I get really into Sarah J Maas books because of the characters. And then the writing is full on Laini Taylor, like beautiful descriptions and lush. So if that proves true, and this is Sarah J Maas and Laini Taylor's book baby, this could be my new favorite book, but I'm only 22 pages in. So that's obviously a grand claim to make. And the real reason I'm here today, even though we've been talking for quite some time and just talking about my reading update, I have an Amazon parcel. I know what this is. So the backstory on this, it's not, I didn't buy it for myself. This is from Cody, from Cody's Book Corner. This is one of Cody's favorite books. I've seen it around. It's reasonably popular on BookTube. Like, it is heard of, it's not super obscure. But every time I see it or I hear about it, I always want to ask Cody whether it is like, and no Game of Thrones spoilers, but that time when all the old men characters go beyond the wall and it's like lads on tour and it's a grand adventure. I always wanted to ask her if it had those vibes, and she said it did, and I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna keep an eye out for it secondhand. And she was like, fuck that, I'm buying it for you. So I have Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Ames here. Now, what I know about the plot of this is that it is about a group of, I'm not sure if they're like mercenaries. Are they mercenaries? Yeah, they're mercenaries. So it's about a band of mercenaries. They have been retired for a very long time, but one day one of the main character's daughters goes missing or is kidnapped or whatever, and he gets the band back together again to go find her. Every time I see this book, I just think, is it like all of the old men in Game of Thrones beyond the wall? And Cody said it is kind of like that, so hell fucking yeah, and I am hella excited to read this one. So thank you very much, Cody, for providing me with this. Even, oh my god, like, if you just, this guy even looks like the Hound. I literally just think it's Game of Thrones fanfiction at this point. So that is all I have for you now. This was supposed to be a really quick update, but you know me, I can't shut the fuck up. I'm also swearing a lot today, so sorry about that. I have days like that, like I can go ages without swearing at all, and then days where like every other word is a curse. So I'm gonna go now. I'm in my jammies. I just had a shower. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it is a new Fortnite challenge day, and I've read enough today. I've read over 100 pages. Gonna finish this chapter while I'm loading up my Xbox, and I'm gonna kick out some Fortnite challenges because I'm actually really up to date at the minute, and that never fucking happens. I'm on a roll. Good evening, guys. It is around 6 p.m. I got a cup of tea. I will be heading to the gym in about an hour, but until then I have just edited a book diary for Girls with Paper and Fire. At this point I don't even remember what month I read that book in. It was either February or March. I still have one more Harry Potter book diary to go up. I've recorded 1.5 Game of Thrones book diaries that need to go up. There's also like miscellaneous book diaries that need to go up. And I just find it really hard to get them out there because I enjoy filming them. You guys who have read the books that I do the book diaries on really enjoy watching them, but people who don't watch single book reviews, like I don't generally watch single book reviews, and people who haven't read the book don't watch them, which is fine, you know, like it's not about the views. It's just if I upload a book diary, it kills my channel and the algorithm drops me, and it's frustrating because then I spend like a week or so trying to recover from that loss. So I kind of have to strategically place my book diaries in between like content that I know will get more views than usual to negate that effect, and yeah, it just gets a little bit annoying. And so hopefully I will have actually put that video up before this vlog goes up, because another habit I have is editing them and then just sitting on them and not uploading them. But regardless, I'm actually here for a reading update because surprise surprise, this is a reading vlog. Yesterday I said that I would finish Hidden Bodies today, and I have. I gave it 5 stars. I think I enjoy it slightly less than I enjoy You. The thing I think I really like about this series is because of the unique perspective of being in the mind of the stalker. You don't really know how it's going to end because you like him as a person, like he's a cool guy aside from, you know, all the illegal shit that he does. So you're kind of rooting for him, but at the same time, like he needs to be punished for what he's done. So you kind of have this feeling of like, oh no, is he gonna get caught doing this and caught doing that? But at the same time, like you don't want him to. So the ending was not my favorite. It was a little bit speculative, and you know I don't like that. Don't think she plans on writing any more books in this series, although she definitely could. She's left room for that. Jo went through a lot of character growth, and I appreciated that, and yeah, I gave it 5 stars. So that is now done with. That was my 7th Bookopoly book to read a book set in the US /UK, like a realistic setting that I'm familiar with. That leaves me with 2 Bookopoly books left. It's Friday. I have exactly 1 week left to finish these 2 books, which I might do it, I might not, like I really don't know. It is a bank holiday weekend now, so I have 3 days off work, and that could go one of 2 ways. I've gotten a little bit ahead on filming. I did some midweek filming, so I don't have to spend all tomorrow filming. I could either spend a lot of time reading this weekend, or I could not read at all, and it is literally impossible to say because weekends are just like really hit and miss for me with reading. But I really need to buckle down and read this weekend if I'm going to get both of these books done before the end of the month. So the first one is the one that I've been currently reading, The Queens of Innis, Lear, and I'm now on page 38 of this, and I put out a tweet that said that this may be my new favourite book, and I've not taken that back. Like, it may very well be. I've now read a chapter from each of the 3 queens and the guy who's called the Fox. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but there is very possible gay or bi rep at the beginning with the Fox guy, who seems to be having a relationship of some sort with the king of whatever country he's in. I think it's Aramoria. We have our youngest princess, who is a moon priestess, and then the middle princess, Reagan, still worships the wood magic that the king has outlawed, so like the tree magic. She is trying to have a baby, but she's now had 5 miscarriages. In that second chapter, she does unfortunately have another miscarriage. Also trigger warnings with that for self-harm, because it has like kind of blood magic in it. That's to do with like the tree magic is blood magic. Trigger warnings for miscarriage, obviously. And then the other princess is like a warrior princess who just really loves fighting, and she reminds me a lot of Selena from like later on in the Throne of Glass series, and I really liked that. Also, I discovered that Tessa Grattan is in a female-female relationship. She has a wife, and the warrior princess is either ace, or like somewhere on the ace spectrum, like a romantic asexual, or she's not attracted to men. I think, I'm just presuming at the minute. Her husband essentially has some feels for her, and as much as she can, she keeps him away from her. So I did think it may be ace, because that's kind of the obvious conclusion to draw from the chapter. But as the author herself has a wife, I'm wondering if this character will go in like a female-female direction. As well as that, all 3 princesses are mixed race. They are all, I think they're like black, and their father is white. So definitely a lot of rep in here, more than I didn't expect any rep when I went into it. Like, I don't necessarily go into a book thinking like, oh, I wonder how much rep this will have, but I did not expect this to be diverse just because King Lear retelling. But it is, and I'm loving it. And this is my second Bookopoly book, which was a chance card, I think. And I also today have started The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So this is a lot of your guys' favourite book, and this is a retelling of the myth of Achilles. And this book follows Patroclus, who I believe is briefly mentioned in, is it the Iliad? I'm not like super up on Greek myths. Like, I know a little bit about a lot of the gods, but I don't know much about their actual stories. And Patroclus is mentioned briefly anyway, and he is like best friends with Achilles. This follows his story. This is a male-male romance. Patroclus and Achilles, I'm assuming, have a thing. So I'm on page 62 of this. The plot so far is that Patroclus is kind of forgettable. He's the son of a king, he's a prince, but he doesn't have anything special about him. He's not particularly strong or fast. The ancient Greeks are all about like how strong you are and how much of a hero you are and if you have any connection to the gods. And he's just kind of normal, nothing really special about him. And one day he accidentally kills somebody because this other boy wants something that he has, and he says no, and they get into a tussle, and the boy hits his head on a rock. So Patroclus gets exiled to the small kingdom where Achilles' father is the king. There's a series of events. Patroclus isn't fitting in very well, and because of that he asks Achilles for help in covering for him because he's been skipping his lessons, and Achilles does cover for him, and they become companions where they don't sleep in the same room and stuff. And apparently it's a thing, like princes have companions who are like their closest advisors in war and also at peace times. So far the writing I like. It's kind of flowery. It also seems pretty true to the way that myths are written. I don't know how to describe how myths are written, but I've read Norse mythology by Neil Gaiman, and I've also read a non-fiction book of Greek myths. I read, like, I was skimming through it because it was very much like factual and I wanted more of like a story-based version. They're written in an interesting way, and I don't know how to describe it, but this kind of follows that structure of how myths are written, but with a little sprinkle of floweriness. Now, it's not my favourite writing style because I find that way that myths are written to be like a little bit abrupt for me, and once again I can't describe it, but yeah, it's not my favorite writing style, but I do like it. I think it's because I'm currently reading this, which is like my dream writing style. This is the kind of writing that I love, so this doesn't seem as good in comparison, but I'm definitely enjoying it. Don't know how I'll feel about it yet. I think it's pretty sad, but I don't think I'm going to be reading this for the weekend because I don't have an ebook for this, and this is on Scribd. So while I'll be at home all weekend, I don't think I'm going anywhere. I will read The Queens of Innis, Lear, and when I'm out and about I will read the ebook of The Song of Achilles, but obviously throughout the weekend I will check in, let you know where I am with both of these. So I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna finish my tea, chill out for a bit before I go to the gym. I hope that I'm okay this week and I don't spend 4 days not being able to walk like last week. Well, this week actually. I could only walk fully without pain on Wednesday, and then I went to yoga and made it worse. So yeah, I'm hoping that because I went to my weights class last week, that this week it will be less painful, but I'm sure you'll see me moaning about it over the weekend if I'm in a lot of pain.
Woke up from a whisper, collared shirt down by my feet, stood on crowded bathroom row, voices filled the rooms upstairs. Our Ford was warm before we drove, breakfast fresh on the stove. She walked out with
Hey guys, so it is Sunday evening now. We're on about 8:30 at the moment, and I think I'm going to wrap up the vlog. I haven't checked in with you over the weekend because I'm just continually reading The Queens of Innis, Lear. Like I said, I haven't picked up any of The Song of Achilles. No, The Song of Achilles. Over the weekend, I will be continuing with that on Tuesday probably. So currently I'm on page 178 of this. I kind of wanted to be a bit further at this point. Still really enjoy the writing style. I love the writing style. It's just I'm 180 pages in and not a lot has happened. You guys might think that that's obvious because I've said it's King Lear retelling, but like I said, I'm not familiar with the King Lear. I did actually look up a synopsis and then I started reading it and I thought, you know what, I don't really want to be spoiled for this book because I'm enjoying the writing so much. So I didn't read the synopsis, but 180 pages in, and it is about each of the queens and kind of what's going on with them. As I said before, they're waiting for their father to name the heir, and it kind of gets to that point where he decides who his heir is, and I'm pretty much just after that point where they're all dealing with what he said. So there's not a lot of action. I don't know where this is going. If you guys are familiar with King Lear, then you might, but I don't have a clue. It's very slow, it's very character driven. I'm not sure if I made a mistake as well by saying that there's a male-male relationship in this. I'm still unsure because I thought that I had sort of misinterpreted it, but then I've just read a chapter now which makes me think that I didn't. I think one of the characters is bisexual and he's having a relationship. In the first chapter it alludes to him having a relationship with this guy, but he was also in love with the girl in his childhood and he sees her again and all of those feelings kind of come back to him. Interestingly, the queen who is the eldest, who I said is like the warrior queen, I said that she was possibly ace or into the ladies. I actually think that she's genderqueer. I'm not sure if trans is the correct term because this is like a medieval-ish setting, so like she can't be a man even really in the way that she presents herself that much. Like she does tend to favour soldier attire. This isn't a society where she can be a man, and obviously medical advancements don't really exist, so I don't know if trans is the correct term. But she definitely refers to herself as being the next king, not the next queen, and she went to see a witch about removing some of her feminine aspects, shall we say. So she is definitely genderqueer. She might still be ace, she might still be into ladies, but she's 100% genderqueer. And yeah, there's just a whole ton of rep in here. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just hoping the plot picks up at some point. At the moment it's looking to be like a 4-star read, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a 5 because I like slow books if the payoff is good. Like if I get to the end and everything just comes together perfectly and it was worth all of this slowness at the beginning, then I could still give it 5 stars. But at the minute it's like a 4-star. I love the writing, I love the characters, I just want something to happen. Next week, quite a lot is happening actually. I am going out next weekend in Manchester for Ryan's birthday. So that's going to be fun. I've never been out in Manchester before. So we're going for a night out. Tomorrow we decided that we're going to go shopping in Lincoln. We've never been to Lincoln before. Tuesday we're going to the cinema to see Aladdin, and Wednesday now we are going to an open mic night. So next week is now fully booked for me, but I will of course take you guys along with me. I'm hoping to definitely finish the Song of Achilles. That should like 100% be done, and I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this, but I am going to make a dent. I think I'll be nearly done with this by the end of the week. So that is it for this week's vlog. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you next week, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.